This is the Dick and Conversation podcast. I'm Elissa, and if it's your first time joining me, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm glad you're joining me. If you've heard me before, or if you've been following me all along for the last year and a half, I guess, maybe a year and some change, then thank you for hanging with me. I hope that you are listening to me on Amazon, iHeart, Pandora, Spotify, or watching me on the tube of you. I've been forgetting to do this. Like, subscribe, share. I've been intending to do that, but I kept forgetting. So if you're on YouTube or whichever one you're watching me on, like, subscribe, share. If you are looking at me on my TikTok, please go over to YouTube or Amazon, iHeart, Pandora, or Spotify and listen to the entire episode. I want to say that I know that I've been gone for a while. I know. I think for the entire month of August, I didn't make one episode, but I'm here to tell you, life was lifing me to death through the month of August. It was a roller coaster ride. It was very emotional, good and bad, happy and sad, joy and pain, heartache and rain. That's a shout out to Frankie Beverly. If you know the song, then you know the song. Um, I haven't been on in a while. The last time I was on, if I'm not mistaken, it was my conversation with Chris, who was absolutely outstanding. Chris, I would love to do another podcast with you. You are very, very, very enlightening. Um, so I think that's probably the last episode I did, and I think that was in July. And if that's the case, baby, I got to catch you all up on it. This episode is pretty much a potpourri of a plethora. I love that word, plethora of topics, but it will get kind of deep. And then I'll finish out this episode with the episode that I'm going to go into next, which is a whole nother something altogether. Um, I haven't forgotten about the uh, topic of marriage and why men get married because they feel the pressure from women, allegedly, from my ex husband. And speaking of him, thank you, Scott, for being my guest. Thank you, Bruce. Man, Bruce. Whew. Thank you, Bruce, for being my guest. And thank you, Chris, for being my guest. Bruce, you've been dropping gems. A lot of the stuff you said rang in my head in the middle of the night. So I appreciate you sharing some gems and dropping some knowledge. And I've heard from quite a few men when what you said they co-signed an amen and been had an amen corner with some of the things that you've been saying or some of the things you said on your episode. So I really appreciate that. Um, I do want to get back to that topic, and I want women who are willing and brave enough to come on, women who've never been married and would like to get married, or women who are married and you can tell whether or not their husband was quote unquote pressured to do it. Or if you were actually feeling like, okay, I did pressure him. Like I said, I felt like I pressured Scott to do it. But in the end, I told you all, I had broke that engagement off and I got that ring back. That's a whole nother story. And I'm here to tell you, here's what's funny. The people who know that story are those that are in my family and the ladies who do my nails. Because I went to nail shop and they were like, you do podcasts. You've been talking. Like, how you all know? They listen to the podcast. That's why I keep saying. I think a lot of people are put off by the name and they don't watch, or they think it's like, oh my God, it's kind of raunchy and they don't watch. But I don't know who's watching. So I was very surprised that they knew about it and they wanted to know what happened with the ring, with the engagement. So I told them the story as they got my nails done. So shout out to Nancy and Mia. I'm still in my green era, my green era. So you guys know the story. Now don't you all go start your own podcast and tell my story. Um, I am going to come back to it. So, ladies, if there's a lady who's out there who wants to talk about that, please feel free to join me. While I've been gone for the month of August, I've been a guest on other podcasts and watching other podcasts and just kind of collaborating with other podcast creators, content creators. So shout out to my sisters, women of podcast purpose, Terrell Tyler, Catherine Rivers, Latanya Holmes with the Nicole Please on Spotify. If you want to hear her podcast, she cussed a little, but she got a good heart. So does Rail and Catherine. Also to Shay Parker. Shay Sipping Shay. You can catch it on YouTube live, and we have been having a great connection. I've been helping promote their content. They've been helping promote content, and we are women of of podcast purpose. They're my sisters in the podcast world because I have no biological sisters, but they are my sisters. So I love you, ladies. Love you, love you, love you. We spoke on domestic violence, um, which was just this dynamic topic. For a long time, we couldn't quite get it together. The mechanics weren't just working right, technical difficulties, and we were like, should we just go ahead and do it or no, just skip it? And I was like, this is way too important to just do it haphazardly, or as some people may say, half-assed. So I made sure that we made sure that everything was okay before we went ahead with that episode. Which, if you get a chance, please, it's on Thought Magazine. Shout out to Jeremy Jackson and Thought Magazine. I've never met Jeremy, but everybody else has. But I appreciate you giving us the platform. So go to Thought Magazine and you can hear that episode about domestic violence and some of the things that women have been through, some of the things that I've put people through, and how sometimes we have to redefine what domestic violence is. So, also, if there is anyone that's in a situation where you feel unsafe, please 1-800-777-799 SAFE for help out of a domestic violence situation. So, um, I've been doing that. And also, shout out to Fortitude Yet Life once again. Yeah, I appreciate you. Are truly all of our number one fan. You have a lot of content. Like, I think I scroll and every third video that I see is one of Yat interviews. But I appreciate you always promoting us. You are our number one fan. You really do a great job. And also to Kevin Marshall, who introduced me to all of these other content creators. Kevin Marshall with the More Than a Coach podcast. I appreciate that. You always do a great job with supporting us, inboxing us, encouraging us, and things like that. So, I wanted to tell you all about that too. So, what else have I been doing? I have become now 50% empty nester. This is a big change for me. Um, as you all know, if you've listened to previous episodes, I adopted my babies and I've had them since they were 4 months old, corrected age. They were 3 months old, 4 months old, but they were new babies and I've had them and now they graduated this year. They turned 18 last month. I no longer have children. Excuse me. Excuse me, bless me. Sorry. Sneeze. I love a good sneeze. I can't lie. Sometimes I love a good love a good sneeze. But excuse me. They became young adults. And in addition to that, my daughter has went off to college. I had to go and drop my baby off, my daughter, my only girl, and in the end end up being like a really good friend. I end up like enjoying her immensely. Like, you know, you go through that little stage with your daughter. Some do, not everybody. But my daughter and I had to like, she has a very strong personality. I wonder where she gets that from. But she, she was going off to college. So I had to go and take my baby off to college and drop her off. And I didn't cry. I just knew I would be a big weepy ball of mess when I dropped her off, but I wasn't. But that next day, I got up and I logged on for work and it hit me. My baby is gone. And I started crying. And I was like, oh, my son is still here for the time being. And he is doing a fast track program for a certification in his career option that he's done, that he's chosen. So he went from being my baby to my roommate. So that's kind of what we are now. Like, we cool. Hey, bro. Hey, bro. You good? You good? We love you. Be safe. You home? Nope. Want to eat? Yeah. You cooking? So that's how my son and I are now. He's my roommate for the next few months until he completes his um program that he's going for. And then I will be an empty nester. That's hard. I This is hard. Um I have like friends that I rely on. They're men. I guess they were single dads who had their sons in their house with them, and their sons are either moved out, have moved out, so they know what I'm going through, and they've been able to kind of help talk me through the oh my God, my baby's gone, the I'm going to be alone type thing. But it don't take me a minute to jump back on that old horse. If you haven't heard some of the tales that I've lived, go back and listen to some of the episodes. Go back and listen to some of the foolishness and mayhem I have already done, and I still had the kids. So I can't imagine what I can get into now that they're gone. I'm a little older now, though. A little older, a little more mature. Very, very mindful, very demure, very. I'm, I'm more, I'm more Mars than Patty and Selma at 51 than I was at about 44, 43. Yeah, that's my story. I'm sticking to it now. I have settled down, but all it takes is a full battery on the phone, a full tank of gas, and a little money in my wallet or on my card, and I'll find a little something to get into, a little swerve to curve, or curve to swerve, or a corner to bend. That's what I call it when I want to get outside, as the young people say. But I'm a little more settled now, so I don't do it as often. So I'm going through the whole thing of having adult children and getting older and seeing what it's going to be like um, with adult kids. Um, Also, while I was gone, I had some health issues. And I'm still kind of dealing with the health issues. It's still kind of not exactly sure, but let me tell you what happened. So, I'm a late night, early morning person. I stay up late and I get up early. That's changing too because I'm starting to need naps. But one night I'm up texting and like I normally do till maybe one something, 12, 1:30, whatever. It's around that time. And I sent a text message. I'm sitting on the side of my bed, and I know I'm a little tired, whatever. And the last thought that goes to my mind is, let me go up and turn this air on because this has been a summer. This is really, really, really hot. And I thought I nodded off and was like, oh man, I nodded off in the bed and woke up. Well, no, I woke up on the kitchen floor of my home. I'm wondering, like, how the hell did I get on the kitchen floor? I don't remember coming out of the room. I don't remember walking. I don't remember going in the kitchen. I just woke up on the kitchen floor. I had obviously tried to break my fall with the dining room table because it was also on the floor and it was broken. So I must have felt pretty hard. I was probably fighting for my life with that chair. That chair was battling before we hit the ground. And I come to my daughter's like, Mom, what are you doing? Like, I don't know. So why are you on the floor? I don't know. How did you get there? I don't know. So, things have been, I was like, I don't know. Go to the doctor the next day. Then I got back in the bed. And I'm in the hospital and I stayed all day. And they ran every test, blood work, CT scan on my head, EKG on my heart, checks X-ray, and they can't find nothing. And that is the thing that is probably most frustrating and scary at the same time because you're wondering, at least find something to explain why I passed out. And in addition, I have dizzy spells on occasion. Like, what the entire hoo ha is going on that I'm having dizzy spells and things like that. So I don't know what it is, still trying to figure it out. However, as my god brother Corell says, I love to give Corell his shout out on the Minority Report podcast. Um, However, I was told that it could be dehydration, which is highly probable. I have been doing some 5Ks. That's my thing. That's my hobby. I'm not a musician or a dancer or a singer. I mean, I can carry a tune to the bathroom, but I'm not that person. But I do like to do 5Ks from the time from March to about November, maybe October, depending on the weather. And I've been doing some 5K. So I've been sweating and started walking at work. And, it was hot this summer. And sometimes I didn't want to turn the air on. The fan was good. So I've been sweating. So, yes, I was a little bit dehydrated. But I thought I was doing good. I'm drinking water and things are fine. So I should be good. But apparently not as I get older because I'm 51 now. 51 and fabulous. I need a little more liquid than what I used to. So I'm drinking body armor. This is my thing. body armor that my nephew put me up on. Hey Trent, thank you. It has electrolytes and coconut water replenishes me quite a bit, so it makes me feel pretty good. But every now and again, if I don't drink enough water or enough body armor, it's the Kobe brand with the pink, purple, and gold Kobe God. Then I start to get a little lightheaded. So let's just keep me in good thoughts and prayers. For those who pray, those who don't, or send good vibes, whatever it is that you choose, please send them my way. Send some prayers, send them my way, send them to God's way, that things get worked out and I'll be okay. So I should be good. I'm Gucci good, but I'm not Fendi fine. I hope to be that way by the end of the end of the summer at least. Well, was I got it at the end of September, hopefully. So, in addition to that, because August is still rolling, I lost a family member. Um, Young, beautiful, had her life ahead of her, not tragically lost. It's tragedy that she's gone, but she passed of natural causes. Now, here's the thing: she was 25 years old, and no, that's not a lot of time. But is there ever enough time? No matter what happens, sometimes people make big impacts with little time. Some people make little impacts with a lot of time. This was one of those individuals who made a big impact in a little bit of time. And um, it was a surprise and it's hurting, and we're all still grieving. But she was amazing. And you can always tell how good a person is based on um, what the gathering is like. It was very full of love and full of sorrow, and it goes to show how wonderful she was. So that also happened where I had to say goodbye to a family member in August. When I tell y'all August was a mofo. I can't even find nothing else for it. August was just it was just like, let's see how much, we can find. And then on top of that, I had my mom was in the hospital for a little bit, but she's good now. My mom is one of those people, she's not going to stay down long because that's just her. And maybe that's where I get it from. Like, yep, you pass out, get up, keep going. You're all right. But she's good too. But the thing of it is, my mom was in there for a little bit. And my nephew, shout out to Trent, he had to make a cross country trip to Baltimore. Um, and it was under a time constraint. Something happened with the flight and he was not able to catch his flight as he should. And he asked my mom and I to accompany him. So we're riding. And I told my nephew, you must be the bravest person in the country. He says, why you say that? Listen. I said, because you choosing to ride with a person who had passed out last week. And a couple weeks before that, another person who had some kind of little health issue. You really want to ride with us? Didn't you want to take like my two brothers? He said he hadn't thought about it, but I bet the next time he go, he won't take us. Cause I love my mother. My mother drove for a living for many, many years. My mom had like three careers that she retired from. One of them was driving. She drove for a living, and she's always been an impeccable driver. She's taught all of us how to drive. Grandkids, kids in the neighborhood, her boss's daughter. She taught a lot of people how to drive. Well, my mom is in her mid 70s now, and she's still a good driver. She's not like running over curves and things like that. But my mom used to do an 18-hour drive like that. No problem, no sleep. I got it. I'm good. We'll pull over to the, to the rest stop, use the bathroom, get some water, keep going. I'm here to tell you. She she drove the majority of Baltimore. We go through the Pennsylvania hills. I'm sorry, Pennsylvania mountains in the middle of the night, and I swear I died about 100 times on that trip. I was sitting there like, oh shit, I'm gonna die in the middle of the night. And nobody will even know we did because we going over the mountain. They won't find us for a few days. My nephew sleep and his son sleep, and I'm wide awake. And at one point, I locked up, and all I could do was cry. And my mom, with all the Trent, she is, because that's how she is. It's like, you got to get yourself together. What you doing all that for? I'm having pure anxiety, like, because I now have anxiety about driving. It sucks getting older. It really fucking does. So anyway, I'm having anxiety about driving and riding in cars and riding at night because I've had 100 near misses driving when I was commuting at my old job and from my home. So I'm kind of like, I'm driving and I'm even worse with somebody else driving. But we made it. Everything was good. Went to Baltimore, did a complete turnaround, came back. But I thought I was gonna die. I about got back, I was exhausted. And was like, oh my God. And just the stress of that. And my daughter moving and and some things at work. Work wasn't that bad. Work was also actually my soft spot. And just things happening in life. I was stressed. Like stressed. Now here's where it gets really weird. Hang with me here if you can. I lost my best friend in 2022. He passed away. And I kid you not, this is just my mind, or it could be something beyond that. I don't know. Anytime life gets really overwhelming and really stressful, I dream about him every time. And it's not like some, big strange dream or some type of message or something. It is always something he would be doing, but not really. Like one time he was sitting eating at a table, which is something he would be doing, probably double cheeseburger or bacon cheeseburger. I said, let me eat bacon cheeseburger, some wings or something. And he appeared in a dream, and I'm going through a really rough time in my life. And every time he shows up in the dream, right before I wake up, he'll always say, "You'll be okay, listen. Listen, you all right?" Or "May May, you all right?" Like what? Like May May, you okay? And then I would wake up. So with all of the stress that was happening in August, guess what? Yeah, Roy showed up in the dream. His name is Roy. Roy shows up in the dream, and he's driving a Dodge Ram, which anybody knows my best friend. He was a Chevy guy. So it was odd that he's driving a dark gray Dodge Ram. But right before I woke up, he says, "May May, you all right?" I was like, "I am." "Yeah, you okay?" And every time I get that, I wake up with kind of like this renewed fighting spirit of I'm okay, I'm gonna be all right. So that's the thing that it's like, okay, August was going out, going into September, and hopefully September is going to be better. So far, it's been pretty good. So far, September's been okay. Of course, this is only the ninth. Still got 20 something more days to go. God knows what can happen. But so far, things have been good. I do, except for this one thing. So I have a friend, and I've been friends with this friend for maybe half a decade, about 5 years or so, and the friendship has kind of not fizzled out, but the friendship is not what it was. And I look at it like this. I if I'm in someone's life or someone is in my life, I feel my goal in their life, whether it's friend, girlfriend, wife, mother, coworker, um, partner at work, partner, um, is to enhance their life. Is what in every way that I can make your life better. That's my goal, make your life better. And if I can't enhance your life to make your life better, then I probably shouldn't be in your life. So I haven't had like this big discussion, like I'm out your life, I'm done. We're not friends anymore. It's just been a okay. Let me step back and just step back or step off or fall back, or whatever these young kids say, or old heads, because I'm auntie status now. Aunties and uncles say whatever we saying. Body armor, stay hydrated. By the way, Body Armor, if you guys want to sponsor me, I'll be more than happy to accept that sponsorship because I'm drinking. Stay hydrated. Body Armor. So I just it's difficult when you have to when friendships kind of whether they change or end or whatever it is. That's a thing that we don't really talk about. One thing that one of my best friends, Shannon, said, "Hey, Shannon. Hey, Shannon." Um, she was saying about how a lot of times we as girlfriends will get rid of a girlfriend over a one dispute, but we'll accept men over and over and over when they do things happen. But if girlfriend has a disagreement with them, we're done with them for life. Yeah, because I know some I'd be like, that heifer ain't got to call me never no more. We just done. One disagreement, 20 years, 30 years, 5 years, 10 years. She said, what? You saying, wait, what? Yeah, we good. But it is very difficult to step away from a friendship, and then sometimes the pain that comes afterward, and you can't quite put it into words. But I just feel like if I don't enhance someone's life, then I probably shouldn't be in it, and that I allow that space for someone else to come in who will enhance, and that's kind of a something I'm going through, went through. Just I don't know. I keep you doing with that, but that's what's been going on in August now. In case you guys haven't noticed, I'm gonna finish this out because this gonna lead us to my next episode, which is needs an episode all on its own. In case you guys haven't noticed, I'm wearing like a spaghetti strap tank top. I have a fan going. I usually don't do this. I'm usually in like a black something as a distraction. It's not so it's not a distraction while I'm talking. I'm like, oh, something wild. But I did say I'm 51, and all of a sudden, I believe, based on my own diagnosis and the diagnosis of TikTok University, that I've begun menopause, pause of the men. And, well, nah, I ain't pausing men because, that's, that's going to be that'll be another episode. So, I get hot. And I've been having these little odd symptoms, and I'm thinking like, oh, okay, but I'm not in menopause, and I've been bragging like, oh, I'm not in menopause. I'm still got the body of an 18-year-old, and I go to the gynecologist, and she's like, Alyssa, nope, you're not in menopause. You're not in menopause because I'm not having the hot flashes and the night sweats, and oh, I'm not gaining a whole lot of weight, and I'm not, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm not doing, But come May, I was like, okay, a little something missing. Something ain't showed up in May. Or it showed up in May and didn't show up in June. Well, okay. Well, come July. Like, where's old girl? I ain't seen her since May. Didn't come in June. Okay, didn't come in July, August. Mm-mm. And then I started getting like warm. Little split second of warmth. Like, oh, is that a hot flash? But then here are the things that we didn't know. Like I didn't know. And thank God for TikTok University because I thought I was going crazy and the kids were telling me I was going crazy. Where you forget stuff and you itching for no reason and you're clumsy all of a sudden and it's like what the hell is going on? Food don't taste right. I've been saying this for months. Like something's going on with the food. I can't eat the food doesn't taste right. Something happened at McDonald's. I don't think nothing happened at McDonald's. Don't y'all come at me. I'm just saying this is me. It wasn't y'all. But it's just like, what is going on? So I started seeing these videos because TikTok does have me in a chokehold. And it's like, okay, so, yeah, I see that now. Oh, that's what it is. I've hit my season of life, my mature lady season. And it's not very demure, not pleasant, not mindful. This little sucker is very attention getting, very at times aggressive, at times thoughtless. That's where I am. So you wonder like why is she naked or looking naked with spaghetti straps on? It's because I'm 51 and I have eased into my other season of life, which we'll talk about on another episode. This is Elissa, and thank you for listening to and or watching Dick and Conversation podcast with me on Amazon, iHeart, Pandora, Spotify, or YouTube. Like, share, subscribe. I forgot to give my socials, but I'm going to give my socials now. So if you're still here with me, my socials, Facebook is Facebook Dick and Conversation Facebook page. My Instagram is Dick and Conversation underscore podcast. My Instagram, that's my Instagram. Sorry, that is my Instagram. My YouTube channel is Dick and Conversation Channel. And my email is dickandconvo@gmail.com. I appreciate you guys listening. I'm back. I'm back. I'll count this as like season three. How about that? I count this as season three. Once again, if there are any ladies who would love to be a guest and talk about being married, wanting to get married, having got married and felt like you pressured your husband, having got married and felt like you didn't pressure your husband, please reach out to me. I would love to have you on a guest because I would like to dispel some of the things that Scott, Chris, and Bruce said. Well, yeah, okay. Yeah, we'll see where it goes from there. Once again, this is Elissa. Thank you for joining me.